The first case of new and deadly coronavirus has been reported here in the U.S.
We're in great shape. Compared to other places, we are in really good shape.
For more than a month, COVID-19 was tightening its grip on the United States.
How concerned are you?
Well, we pretty much shut it down.
The US has now recorded more than 1 million COVID-19 cases.
Taiwan, which is close to mainland China, is a potential success story.
I understand has been lauded for some measures it took right from the beginning. They're working. What's happening there?
It's done a remarkable job in applying the lessons it learned in combating the SARS outbreak in 2003 and standing up a model system that was ready to tackle the unique challenges of today's novel coronavirus.
Hi, I'm Tristan, aka Toy Toy Tap, and today I want to share with you my experience living during this coronavirus pandemic in Taipei. My videos are typically in Chinese, but today I'm speaking in English because I think that more people outside of the region are unfamiliar with the situation here. Even if you're unfamiliar with the region, I think that you may have heard recently in the news how well it's contained COVID-19. Much of the world is currently in lockdown under quarantine. A lot of places have switched to an entirely online life where you both work, go to school, and do everything else online. Life as we know it has taken a huge drastic change, but you may be surprised to hear that not so much here. While many schools have switched to an online platform, life has only changed in a few minor but very key ways. If you find this video helpful, if you like it, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let's start by what it looks like here currently. At the very beginning of this scare, around January or February, it became commonplace for everyone to wear masks while outside. This wasn't outrageous to begin with because a lot of people were already wearing them if they had colds, allergies, or if they just weren't wearing makeup that day. So when everybody started doing it, it was pretty normal. And it was easy to get a hold of these masks because they were sold almost everywhere. Just recently, however, when we reached 300 cases, it became required to wear them for everyone on public transportation, so the MRT, subway, trains, etc. Restaurants, stores, and other buildings are still open, but when you go in, it is very common that they'll require you to use hand sanitizer, and they'll also take your temperature through your forehead to make sure that you are at least not showing any symptoms of the virus before you come in the building. Many more places have also implemented fever detection cameras, which helps with the flow of traffic. Places like the subway stations, where you have a larger amount of people coming in and out. This also prevents having a closer proximity contact, which you would have if somebody was taking your temperature on your forehead. I recently went to Subway and was surprised to see that a lot of the tables were marked with an X. This meant that people couldn't sit at those tables while other tables were open. It also had X's on some of the seats, so maybe one person could only sit at one of the tables. Then they also had lines marked on the ground, which I've seen at many stores here, and I've also seen photos and video of that happening in some places in the US, like New York, just indicating where you can line up so you're not too close to the people around you. However, I do think it is completely impossible to stay 6 to 10 feet away from people in Taipei because it is so crowded and there are a lot of people with not a lot of space. Many of the public seating areas that did exist sort of in train stations or the seating areas in convenience stores are now either roped off or temporarily removed to prevent people from congregating in one area. The part that is not so convenient for me, because a lot of my income comes from performing, is that a lot of events have been canceled. Now let's talk about how they did it. Before, it was required to wear masks on all public transportation with refusal of service if you didn't, and a 15,000 NT$ fine if you were caught taking it off. People were already wearing masks. The news outlets did a great job scaring people into wearing them. They put the focus on if you wear a mask, you'll be protected, instead of saying wear a mask if you have symptoms, because they knew that the 7 to 14 day incubation period could also be a period of time in which you didn't display any symptoms, and some people just don't show any signs of having the virus. Because people are inherently selfish, this meant that more people were going to wear masks. They want to protect themselves. A couple months ago, I started seeing a ton of articles online saying that masks don't help. The regular surgical mask will not protect you from getting the virus. While it may be true, I think that the physics of wearing a mask and the causes or effects of wearing a mask help prevent the spread of the virus. Just the physics of it, if you breathe through a mask, it's not going to spread as much as if you're breathing out into the open. The momentum is slowed down, just like if you tried to blow out a candle with a mask on versus a mask off. Again, not a scientist, but it is kind of physics. Also, I do believe that having a mask on prevents or sort of reduces the number of times that people are going to scratch their nose, pick at their mouth, and then touch something else. Less likely to touch your bodily fluids and spread them around. The initial big scare in the United States with masks was if everybody starts wearing them, everybody starts buying them, there won't be enough for the medical workers. Thankfully, the local government here stepped in way at the beginning, both to assure that the mask production companies and centers were getting all the resources they needed to make a larger amount of masks, and also to control the sale of the masks. That both prevented hoarding and assured that everybody had a fair chance at getting them. At first, it was 2 masks per week, and it has recently been increased to 9 masks every 2 weeks. The prices on the masks have also been kept really low, at just 5 NT per mask. Another, what I think is largely overlooked key factor in the success so far is the constant emphasis on the fact that even if you have the virus, you may not show symptoms, especially within the first 7 to 14 days of contracting it. In the United States, telling people to wear masks only if they showed symptoms was a very flawed method. Another great idea was the mandatory 2-week quarantine that everybody had to go through upon arrival, with hefty fines if broken. This was verified through a phone app that people would download once they got here and would track their location during their 2-week mandatory quarantine. They would also receive phone calls randomly throughout the day to make sure that they were with their phone. Some people were caught breaking this quarantine and were given hefty fines. Those being quarantined also had the costs of food and shelter covered. They also would test for the virus twice for those being quarantined. Very few cases of the about 400 right now have been exposed to the public, so to speak. Big kudos to Chen Shizhong for holding daily press conferences. It is my personal opinion that this has helped get everyone in the clear, in the know about what is going on, both reassuring them and letting them know what needs to be done going forward. It has made the situation much more transparent and made people much more willing to be cooperative during this period of time. Also, I don't want to get into the whole WHO situation, but I will say, from my personal experiences, from what I've witnessed online and in person, I've never seen anybody making comments about him negatively because of the color of his skin or anything like that. Honestly, I don't usually hear people making these comments about anybody, but especially not him. This is a very friendly place. In fact, some people have gone online, a lot of people have gone online welcoming him to come visit once this whole mess is over. A lot of Americans of Asian descent are being attacked in the US right now. Right now, the United States has the highest cases in the world. But when somebody here asks me where I'm from and I say the United States, they don't attack me. They say, "Oh my God, is your family okay? Do they have everything they need?" Like I said, very friendly place. However, the fact that it has been so safe here has given people a false sense of security. Some people think they're invincible. More and more people are going out on the weekends to have fun in large groups of people. Some people say that it is impossible to actually contain it, and that the measures that have been effective up until now have only been a way of postponing the inevitable, that eventually it's going to break out. And that is just a better way of warming up the hospitals and medical crew to handling the virus and sort of flattening the curve as to not overwhelm it, so to speak. Just last month, we were out on the streets at National Taiwan Normal University interviewing people about the virus. That is a campus that is now entirely closed off. One of the students was found to have the coronavirus. Even if we were a month later out on the streets interviewing there, we could have caught the virus ourselves and spread it around to other people. So it is increasingly necessary to both distance and stop going out. So what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. And like I said earlier, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.